Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to tear down these liquid-filled transformers, and they're filled with oil, and absolutely dispose of the oil legally because the fine is terrible if you get caught dumping it on the ground. Anyway, here's 3 transformers. I'll show you how to tear one down. This type here with this little extra thing on the top, that's the access for your tap changer. Some transformers will only have the band around the bottom, not this one. These are aluminum, and I'll show you how you can tell real easy. So for now, I'm going to get these at least one of these loaded on my pickup and take it over to my shop, and we'll go from there when I get there. Okay, I'm back. Got it on the ground. Let it sit a few days to let all the junk inside, you know, the carbon and the paper, and anything that got messed up when it shorted out. Okay, you come over here, and since this has a tap changer, you can take off this lid, and that relieves the pressure. There's not much, but just enough to push the oil out of these if you start here. Come over here if it doesn't have a tap changer, and take this loose. Break it loose, then it'll relieve the pressure. To get the lid off, take this off on both of them. The lid will come off. Then when we get to the inside in a couple of minutes, I'll show you how to take those off. They're real easy. Okay, just a quick notation. These parts right here have to be unscrewed after you take the bolt. Okay, I got my lid off. Now at this point, I usually stick in my pump. When you put it in, don't put it all the way down to the bottom because you don't want to get all that slimy sludge. And look right here. You can take these bolts off, and these porcelain parts will come loose. This is how you tell right here. If that's with copper color, that would be a copper transformer. All these are silver, that means it's aluminum transformer. After you get your oil down, and these off, I usually pick up the core and let it sit for a week. Let it all drain down as much as possible. Now when you're working on these guys here, you want to make sure you're wearing safety glasses and gloves because it's porcelain. Don't hit porcelain with a striking object like a hammer, sledgehammer, anything like that, hatchet. It'll explode, pieces will come after you. Just tap it lightly with a rubber mallet or something, they'll come right loose. These will unscrew, they take these off, these parts right here will come out real easy. Okay, drain your oil, crank up your core, let it drain some more, pull your core out, and then we'll pick it up later. Okay guys, just a real quick note, these are usually held down like where my finger is pointed by 2 bolts at opposite corners. Bigger transformers may have 3 or 4 bolts. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but I've tried to pick my core up on an angle so that it drains better because there's a plate on the bottom. And if you have it at an angle, you get more oil out of it. So the next thing I do, go over here. If I don't trip and fall over my tarp, I got me an old tarp. I cover it up, let it sit for a week. At least, like I said, let that oil drain down. There you go. Thanks again. Okay, this is the point we're at now. I've pulled the core completely out of the can after it had been sitting for, about 2 weeks. The longer it sits, the better because the oil drains out more, drains down. I set it on a piece of plywood so any residual oil will be soaked up by the plywood. Later I can burn the plywood in my burning barrel. I'm in the country area. Okay, we come over here and I've taken the can that the core was in and I've turned it upside down to drain it in a steel bucket. Now sometimes you might want to use a plastic bucket. These transformer cans are heavier than a 55-gallon barrel, so I would definitely recommend a steel bucket, a good one. Now, the bottom of the transformer can will probably have some water in it, just by nature. When it's all drip dry, take your can off, you can recycle it, use it for something. Take the oil in the can on the bottom, the brown can on the bottom, let it sit outside. Some night it's below freezing, like pretty good below freezing. The oil will separate on its own, oil will float on the water will freeze, you can pour the oil off and recycle it, and then you can dispose of the frozen water with the dirt and muck in it. So for now, that's all. Next time I'll show you, we'll start tearing the core apart. Okay, it's been a couple of days. Transformer can has drained out well. I decided to use that as a base. Please note that I also have plywood underneath it to catch any potential drips. The core is on top. A little bit of tension on the chain so if something falls over it won't land on my foot. Now you can take off all the little pieces like the tap changer and start taking out some of the exterior wrapping. I'll show you that in the next section. Okay, what I need to show you is how to break these individual wraps of the aluminum. What you do is you get a good stout flat tip screwdriver like this. You put it between one layer of aluminum. Remember, every layer of paper, there's a layer of aluminum. Wedge it in, move it forward. Wedge it in, move it forward. Now this transformer, I'm really lucky. For some reason it hasn't expanded, so it didn't explode inside. I don't know why, but it just pulls out real super easy. So the only reason I have to break them down is so I don't have a piece of aluminum 10 yards long I'm trying to handle. But all the other two I've done, you have to wedge your screwdriver in there, shake it down back and forth. When you get it down about a couple inches, pull it hard towards you, it'll break the aluminum. Don't try to get 2 or 3 layers. And remember, in numbers, there's strength. It's like steel cable. Little tiny wires, whole bunch of them, hold a lot of weight. Thank you. Okay, as you can see, I've been tearing these down a little bit. Here's the ends. And I've been taking them out on my right-hand side, right here. And by the way, there's a bucket for the paper. And the paper is very oily and it's very flammable. I would really recommend you don't smoke around this when you're doing this. So these are coming out really good right here. I don't know if you can see a little bit of daylight in there or not. So I decided to cut them long here and long on the other side so I get the most out I possibly can. So that's what I'm doing. I probably ought to show you. These are how the strips are coming out. Last time the paper just peeled right off really slick. This time it's not. The last time the transformer core was really dry. This time it's wetter. Maybe that's it. So I thought I'd leave the pieces of aluminum outside. Maybe the sun will help separate the paper. That's all for now. Okay, now I've got all the paper and the aluminum down to our next lead, main power feed lead. Now behind here, there's a whole bunch of wrappings of paper and cloth and stuff you're going to have to take off next. After that, we should be running into some wire for the tap changers. So for now I'll stop and we'll pick it up later on. Okay, I'm back. As you see, I've got a different barrel, more support, bigger area to work with. You can see I've taken out quite a few of these wraps. I think I took about 6 out. Now these aluminums that were stuck in there, they're loose. Take your pair of pliers, grab one, give it a snap, pull it right out. Now, the best way that I have found to get rid of this darn paper, peel some of it back like you see here. Grab it with a pair of pliers. Now you're going to have to make believe there's a fire in here. Get your fire going. Stick it in the fire. As soon as the paper catches on fire, move it out of the way of the direct flame so that the paper only can burn and you're not going to melt your aluminum. The paper will burn up. Shake the ashes off. Now you have a piece of aluminum you can fold up and throw in your old clean aluminum. And that's about it for right now, and I'll be back a little bit later. Okay, here we are back again, and I've taken off all these wraps of this heavy cardboard and green cray paper to give us access to the tap changer coils. Now the reason you got the transformer most likely is they burned out one of these leads. If you look very carefully at the end, I don't know if you can see it, the end is kind of a white. This is aluminum wire. I know the outside looks like copper. That's the varnish they put on it. Don't be fooled. This is all aluminum. It is possible, although I've never seen it, that the inner core is copper wire. You'll be able to tell immediately. Wire bends too easy to be copper, so it's aluminum. I throw it in my painted aluminum. As you get down through these, you cut them, break them. Some of them are going to be burned off. Shake them, pull them out. You get the first couple out, the rest will come out real easy. Get about half of them out and you can pull all this aluminum out. Just keep going until you get all the way to the inside. When you get all the wire out, take all the cardboard and all that stuff out, dispose of it properly. Now you have your core. It's iron. You should be able to go in the number 1, but might have to throw it in the number 2. And that's about it. So it's not a money-making deal. It takes a lot of time for just a little bit of reward. But like any scrap job, you got to take the bad with the good. So hopefully you've got these for like $1 a piece is about all I'd ever give, because you got to get rid of the oil. So for now, I'll sign off, and thank you for watching my video. Okay, I'm back, and we're down to the home stretch. You've got all the wire unwrapped, and now we're down to the sheet again. You got, I don't know, 10, 12 layers, whatever. Every transformer is different. Unwrap that. Take your core as one piece. Don't break it down. After you take all this paper out, take that core, throw it in the scrap iron. If I was still shipping iron, I'd put it in the number 1 because it's a good dense block. But you might have to throw it in the number 2. Anyway, that's about it. Just be safe. Wear glasses. Wear gloves. Don't smoke. Don't waste a lot of time and energy on it, because aluminum transformers don't pay. Now you can scrap a copper transformer the same way. With a copper one, you might want to take an abrasive saw blade and slit it so it comes apart easier. But that's up to you. I do these when I have nothing else to do, when I'm waiting for my date to go to lunch, when I'm waiting to meet somebody, when it's just a nice day out and I want to be outside. So thank you very much. I appreciate you watching my video, and you can use this technique on any oil-filled transformer. Thanks again. Have a good day. Bye. Okay, just a little bit to add to the end of my video, and I thought I was done. But after I got the aluminum primary off, look what I found. Copper secondary. I know it looks the same color, but look here. It's narrower, and I don't know if you can see the end very well, but it really is copper. It bends different, it feels different. So yes, I guess there is transformers with aluminum primary and a copper secondary. So the first one I've ever seen, but hey, if you're buying them and they've got these aluminum primaries, just figure the whole thing's aluminum. If you get a copper secondary, a little more money in your own pocket. Hey, thanks again for watching my video. I appreciate it.